So students, welcome to all of you Shiksha 360, and today basically we have to cover the chapter number 2 part 2. Clear, in the previous session we have discussed regarding the money laundering and the financing in terrorism. Clear, very important point, and we have discussed regarding the different stages. So now let's move further. So here first of all we will discuss regarding the different sections, under which section what they have mentioned. So money laundering offense. The offense of money laundering. The offense of money laundering, where it has been defined, the offense of money laundering has been defined in section 3 of the PMLA as clear. The offense of the money laundering has been defined in section 3 of the PMLA as whosoever, what it tells that whosoever directly or indirectly, clear, whosoever directly or indirectly attempts to indulge, clear, whosoever directly or indirectly attempts to indulge or knowingly exists or knowingly it is a party, clear, whosoever the offense of money laundering has been defined in section 3 of the PMLA as that is whosoever directly or indirectly attempts to indulge, clear, whosoever directly or indirectly attempts to indulge or knowingly assists or knowingly is a party, clear, or knowingly assists or knowingly is a party, or is clear, or is actually involved in any process, clear, or is actually involved in any process or activity connected with the proceeds of the crime, clear. So that is whether that person directly or indirectly involved under that, knowingly assist or knowingly it is a party, or actually it is involved in any process or activity connected with the proceeds of crime, clear, connected with the proceeds of crime, including its concealment, possession, acquisition, or use, and projecting or claiming it as an untainted property, shall be the guilty of offense of the money laundering, clear. All that person basically shall be the guilty of the offense of the money laundering, clear. So kindly remember that. Very important point here. Okay. Next one, this is to be mentioned, all these things, this is the definition as per the section 3. Next one, that is section 45 of the PMLA. What it tells that all the offenses under the PMLA are to be deemed to be cognizable and non-bailable. Buyable not, it is non-bailable offenses, clear. All the offenses basically that is under the PMLA, it is to be non-bailable offenses, clear. So kindly remember this one, because why I'm focusing on these points, because you will get the directly questions from these points. As we, if we read the theory, then we are not able to keep remember these points more, but when we will go through the video we are able to remember more, clear. Just go through the video at least 2 times, you are able to answer the question in the examination, clear. No need to worry, everything will be covered in the videos. Just go through the videos, no need to go through the book. Okay, just go through that. That is section 45. What is tell that? That is every offense, clear. I will again repeat, that is every offense under the PMLA are to be deemed to be cognizable and non-bailable offenses. Next one, what is the section 4? Section 4 of the PMLA stipulates the punishment for money laundering offense, clear. The section 4 of the PMLA stipulates the punishment for the money laundering offense, which is rigorous imprisonment for not less than 3 years, clear. That is, it is to be minimum 3 years, but up to 7 years, clear, but up to 7 years, and fine as per the gravity of the offense, clear. And fine we have to pay as per the gravity of the offense, clear. So kindly remember these points, clear. That is section 4 of the PML stipulates that the punishment for the money laundering offense, clear, that the punishment for the money laundering offense, which is rigorous imprisonment, that is for not less than 3 years, clear. That is minimum 3 years, but up to 7 years, and fine as per the gravity of the offense. Further, that is next one under the PML Act also, that is in cases connected with the offenses under the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act, the imprisonment may extend up to 10 years, clear. So this is the special case, that is in the cases connected with the offenses, clear. In the cases connected with the offenses under the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act, the imprisonment may extend up to 10 years, clear. So in that case, the imprisonment. Clear, the imprisonment basically may extend up to 10 years. That is maximum 10 years. So please remember that in the examination, sometimes that is what is the normal, that is imprisonment, that is it is minimum 3 years but up to 7 years. And in the case of with the narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances, in that case, the imprisonment that is which is 7 years, it may be extend up to 10 years. Clear? That is maximum 10 years. Clear? So these are some of the money laundering offense. Now move to the next point. Money laundering. Under that, risk perception. So financial products are designed. Clear? Why the financial? Basically to provide the service, but they are misusing here. So financial products and services are designed to provide the quick, convenient, and efficient modes for dealing with the funds for different purposes. Clear? Financial products and services. Clear here? That is financial products and services basically are designed to provide the quick, convenient, and efficient modes. Clear? To provide the quick, convenient, and efficient modes for dealing with the funds. Clear? For what? Basically for dealing with the funds for different purposes. These are abused. These are abused by the criminals for money laundering and financing of terrorism. Clear? These are abused by the criminals for what? Basically for the money laundering and financing of terrorism by disguising or misrepresenting their true identities, profiles, and purposes. Clear? How that is? By discussing or misrepresenting. Clear? By discussing or misrepresenting their true identities, profiles, and purposes. Clear? True identities, profiles, and purposes. For example, here that is, for example, that is for a salaried executive. Clear? For a salaried executive, is saving account, it is a basic banking product. Clear? For a salaried executive, what is that? A saving account, it is a basic banking product that is used by her for managing her regular inflows and outflows of funds relating to her livelihood and living needs. Clear? So what is that is, for example, for a salary executive, what is a saving account? A saving account, it is a basic banking product. Clear? For a salaried executive, a saving account, it is a basic banking product that is used by her for managing her regular inflows and outflows of funds. Clear? That is used by her for managing her regular inflows and outflows of funds relating to her livelihood and living needs. Okay. So further, that is a criminal engaged. Clear? A criminal engaged in a running a gambling racket. Clear? A criminal engaged in a running a gambling racket. On the other hand, clear? A criminal engaged in a running a gambling racket, on the other hand, opens a saving account. Basically for what? For dealing with the betting money received from the customers. Clear? For dealing with the betting money, for see, that is for dealing with the betting money received from the customers. Clear? So that is that saving account, it is used for both the purposes, and we have to check that. Clear? That's why there are more protections are to be available here so that we can check on all these things. So, however, the criminal poses as a freelancer photographer to disguise the inflows as earning from this occupation. So, thus the primary source of money laundering or financing terrorism risk is the customers. Clear? It is the customers. Okay, so that is just, we can say that service is to be same, but they will misuse here. Clear? That the service is to be same here, but they will misuse here. Clear? So we have to be take care regarding that. Now move to the next one. Know your customer policy, that is KYC. In the session, we have discussed many important full forms, like in the previous session, FATF. I request to all of you, please comment in the comment section. What is the full form of FATF? So know your customer policy. Practice of the introduction. Clear? So prior to the introduction of know your customer guidelines, clear? That is when there are no KYC, like no Aadhaar card, no PAN card. At that time, introduction, it is necessary to open the account. Presently, this process is not going on because we are taking the KYC. Okay. So prior to the introduction of the know your customer guidelines by the RBI in 2002, the banking practice was to obtain introduction for a new customer. Clear? The banking practice was to obtain introduction for a new customer from an existing account holder of satisfactory standing. Clear? From an existing account holder of satisfactory standing, and for certain period or from a staff member who knows the customer properly. Clear? So prior to the introduction, that is of KYC guidelines, that is when it was introduced, kindly remember that it was introduced in the year 2002. The banking practice was to obtain the introduction for a new customer from an existing account holder. Clear? You can check in your bank that in the earlier accounts, clear, there is an introduction. They have mentioned their account number and put their sign in the account opening form. Clear? That I will know this person from last 5 years, 10 years. Okay. For a new customer from an existing account holder of satisfactory standing and for certain period, or from a staff member, clear, or from a staff member who knows the customer properly. Clear? Who knows the customer properly. So what is the purpose? The purpose of this practice was for getting protection provided under the Negotiable Instruments Act to a collecting banker. Clear? So what is the purpose of that? The purpose of this practice. The purpose of this practice basically was for getting protection provided under the Negotiable Instrument Act. Clear? Was getting protection provided under the Negotiable Instrument Act to a collecting banker. Clear? Basically to whom? To a collecting banker. So after RBI guidelines, clear, further, that is after the RBI guidelines on the KYC, the banks have been advised, clear, after the RBI guidelines on the KYC, the banks have been advised not to obtain introduction. Clear? So presently there is not any process of the introduction here. So every bank, now KYC it is to mandatory. So every bank is required to have a KYC policy. Clear? So every bank is required to have a KYC policy laying down the KYC or AML norms. Clear? So every bank now is required to have a KYC policy laying down the KYC or AML norms. Clear? Laying down the KYC or ALM norms. Okay. So kindly remember this point, that is earlier there is the process of the, what is the process, that there is a need of the introduction, and presently there is nothing required regarding that. Clear? Because earlier there is no KYC, now there is the KYC there. Now move to the next one. So customer definition as per the KYC norms. So KYC norms section 2 of the PML Act defines customer as a client. Clear? They will define customer as a client. That is, client means a person who is engaged. Clear? Who is client? That is, client basically means a person who is engaged in a financial transaction. Clear? Client means a person who is engaged in a financial transaction or activity with the reporting entity. Clear? Who is engaged in a financial transaction or activity with the reporting entity, and includes a person. Clear? And further, that is includes a person on whose behalf the person, and it also includes a person on whose behalf the person who engaged in the transaction or activity it is acting. Clear? And includes a person on whose behalf the person who engaged in the transaction or activity it is acting here. So this definition has been adopted by the RBI. Clear? So this definition has been adopted by the RBI in master direction, that KYC, know your customer direction 2016, for defining customer. So now what it tells that a customer from the KYC norms, clear, a customer from the KYC norms perspective differs in from the traditional meaning of the customer. Clear? So what it tells that it includes not just the person is whose name the dealings are carried out with the bank, but also those who actually act for such persons. Clear? Sometimes you will see that the power of attorney is given to the another person. Clear? So they also act as a customer here. Clear? So it includes not only the person is whose name the dealings are carried out with the bank, but also those who actually act for such person. Second one, it not only, it covers, clear, second point here, that is, it covers not only the account holders and those having continued relationship, but it also for those who avail of any service on off basis. Clear? On one-off basis. Clear? Avail. Clear? That is the person who is availing any type of the service basically from the bank, that will be covered under that also. Clear? That person basically will be covered under that also. Clear? That is covered, that is to be known as the customer definition. Now move to the next point. So these are some data for the purpose of KYC requirements. A bank needs to include a wide range of persons availing various services. Clear? So I request all of, these are the different types of the service which can person avail, like PPF account, pension fund account, like if the person is retired, that is senior citizen saving account. Sorry, senior citizen account. Okay, Like for the girls, it is to be Sukanya account, all the different types of the services. For the credit facilities, fund based or non fund based, like LC, BG, clear, all these things will be provided by the bank. LC, that is letter of credit, BG, that is bank guarantee, clear, all these things. So I request all of you to go through all these points. And like safe deposit locker services, can anyone tell what is the amount will be paid by the bank in the case of the compensation, in the case of the locker? Clear? Compensation in the case of the locker, what will be the amount provided by the bank? And that is how many times of your annual rent? Clear? How many times of your annual rent? Clear? This is the important point. Recently there are a lot of amendments going on in the locker. So one question I will ask you, that is how many times the compensation will be provided of your annual rent in the case of any mishappening with the locker? Clear? In the case of mishappening with the locker. So please tell fast now in the comment section regarding that. And if you're not able to know regarding that fact, so please comment here. I will explain that. The next session, 5 to 10 minutes on the locker. Why there is like, there is a news going on that is new agreement is to be signed for the locker. So what they have changed in the new agreement? What is the difference between the earlier agreement and the new agreement? Clear? This thing we have also to understand here. Clear? What is the change? What is the difference between the earlier agreement and the new agreement? Why we will taking new stamp paper from the customers? Clear? So what is the difference between both these things? We have also to understand. Clear? Is there any terminology changes or there any terms and conditions? So we have to understand that why they are putting lot more of pressure on this. That is, you have to take the new agreement. Okay. Now earlier the deadline, it is to be 31st of December 2022. Now they have, I think, enhanced the date. Clear? Till 31st December 2023. Clear? They have divided into different parts, that up to this much time, like up to March, I think it is to be 50% completed. Clear? In this way, they have issued the guideline. We will go with that also. Now move to the next one. Very, very important point here, that is I will cover, that is what are the key elements of the KYC policy. Clear? This will, you will definitely get in the examination. Sometimes they will ask, which of the following are the key elements of the KYC policy? Just remember that key elements. They will ask this point. That what are the key elements of the KYC policy here? First one, that is CAP. That is customer acceptance policy, CA. Then CIP. CA, CIP. CACI. AEIOU. Two vowels, A and EI we are using here. CA, customer acceptance policy. Next, CI, customer identification procedure. Clear? Customer identification procedure. Next one, that is the risk management. Fourth one, that is the monitoring of transactions. Clear? So these are the four key elements of the KYC policy. First one, that is the customer acceptance policy. Second one, that is the customer identification procedures. Third one here, that is the risk management. Fourth one, that is the monitoring of transactions. Clear? Fourth one here, that is the monitoring of the transactions. So some banks here, that is some banks may have two distinct documents. Clear? Some banks may have two distinct documents covering the KYC policy. Clear? That is, some banks may have two distinct documents basically covering the KYC policy. Like first one, that is pertaining to the customer identification. Clear? That is, we have to know the customer, and customer due diligence. Customer due diligence, basically what is the mean? That we have checked all the documents of the customer properly. Clear? What is the meaning of that? We have checked all the documents of the customer properly. And next one, that is the AML, anti money laundering and CFT policy, that is pertaining to the monitoring of the transaction and reporting to the FIU. Clear? And reporting to the FIU. Clear? Can anyone tell what is the full form of FIU? Please tell fast. We have discussed regarding that in the previous session. What is the full form of that? Please remember these full forms. Clear? As we are working in the banking sector, so you are able to remember all these things. What is the importance of all these points? It is very important to remember that. Okay, so now just please remember that how many key elements. First question here, that is how many key elements of the KYC policy, it is to be 4. And what are these elements? First one, customer acceptance policy, customer identification procedures, CAP, risk management. Fourth one, that is the monitoring of transactions. Clear? Fourth point here, that is the monitoring of the transaction. Now move to the next point. Risk management. Clear? Risk management. This is the last point which we will cover. Risk-based approach, risk assessment, and customer risk categorization. Clear? Customer risk categorization. Fourth one, that is the role of other functions. Fifth one, that is the introduction of the new technology. Clear? Introduction of the new technology. So let's start. Risk management. Banks shall apply. Clear? That is, banks shall apply a risk-based approach. RBA, that is risk-based approach, for the mitigation, that is for reducing and management of the identified risk. Clear? Banks shall apply a risk-based approach for mitigation and management of the identified risk, and should have board approved policies. Clear? And should have board approved policies, controls and procedures in this regard. Clear? And should have board approved policies, controls and procedures in this regard. They shall monitor. Clear? That is further, that is they shall monitor the implementation of the controls. Clear? They shall monitor the implementation of the controls and enhance them if it is necessary. Clear? And enhance them if it is necessary. What is the objective? The objective is to adopt the customer due diligence. Clear here? What is the objective? That is the objective here. It is to the adopt the customer due diligence and transaction monitoring measures depending on the risk levels. Clear? The objective is to adopt the customer due diligence and transaction monitoring measures depending on the risk levels, so that the AML CFT measures are effectively implemented. Clear? So that the AML CFT measures are to be effectively implemented. Clear? Are to be effectively implemented. Clear? So that is a risk based approach. That is, they have to be take care of all these things. The objective is to basically adopt the customer due diligence. Clear? CDD. Next one, that is the risk assessment. Clear? Next one here, that is the risk assessment. So bank should undertake assessment of and take effective measures. Clear? Like you will find that if there is any transaction of high amount is to be occur in the new account. Clear? So our bank will issue a message that is there is a high amount transaction occurring in the newly open account. So kindly verify the documents. Clear? Kindly check the genuineness of the transaction. Clear? So they have continuously monitoring that. Next one, that is here, that is the risk assessment. So banks should undertake assessment of and take effective measures. Clear? So banks should undertake assessment of and take effective measures. Clear? Forward, that is take effective measures to mitigate the money laundering and terrorist financing risks from customers, products or services, regions or countries whereby its offices are located, delivery channels, and the transactions undertaken by their customers. Clear? Where its offices are to be located, delivery channels, and the transactions. Clear? And the transactions undertaken by their customers. Clear? And the transaction undertaken by their customers. Further, that is, this exercise should be proportionate. Clear? This exercise should be proportionate to the nature, size, geographical presence, complexity of activities or structure, etc. of the bank, and should be done at least annually. Clear? So this exercise should be proportionate to the nature, size, geographical presence, complexity of the activities or structure, etc. of the bank, and should be done at least annually. Clear? So this type of the assessment basically should be done at least annually. Okay. So I will cover up to this much point in this session. Rest point I will cover in the next session. Clear? Point third, fourth, five, and in the next session we will cover this topic: FATF, identified jurisdictions, important correspondent banks. What is the meaning of that? And reporting transaction under the FATCA. Clear? What is the importance of the FATCA and what is FATCA? We will also cover in the next session regarding that. This one, that is reporting obligation. You will get one more question from that also in the examination. Up to how much amount it is to be reported and within how many days. And what is the penalty or basically obligation? What is the minimum penalty? Clear? If we are facing under that, what is the minimum and maximum? Clear? That is the monetary penalty. Clear? All these things we will cover in the next session and we will cover this topic. Clear? So today we will discuss some of the important points. Hope you are able to remember that. And thanks to all of you for joining this session.